Oh, hello there, dear friend. I believe you might recognize me, but I am James Svandy, the priest of the church just up the road. I had heard that someone new had joined our community here in the south of Egan. It's fairly customary for someone of the church to visit and offer their regards and an opportunity for conversation. So I thought I'd offer it myself in lieu of another minister, since I had spare time. Do you currently have time for a visitation? If it's inconvenient, I or another can certainly visit later. Thank you very much. Praise be. Lead the way. Your home is quite nice. If I may ask, where did you live before moving here? Oh, my days. Memphis, and the city center, no less. I certainly understand why you might want to move here, my friend. I've heard it said that the majesty of the temple can sometimes be drowned out by the noise and bustle of the city. It's so hectic. I assure you, our community should be a much-needed reprieve. Southern Egan is a relatively quiet suburb, especially in our sector. Yeah, thank you. That won't be necessary, but thank you for offering. I don't ask anything of anyone we visit. It feels counterintuitive to go about trying to welcome you while at the same time asking something of you. So, as I said before, I wanted to welcome you on behalf of both the government and clergy of Southern Egan. Our community here is relatively tight-knit, and given your previous time in the big city, I hope you'll find our area to be very welcoming. Of course, I couldn't help but notice these accolades on the wall here. Are you in the medical field? Ah, I see. That's truly amazing. I've always admired the graduates of the Memphis College of Medicine, and to hear that you are among them is very, very inspiring. I'm sure you'll meet them in our services sometime, but there are a few like-minded individuals who I think you'll get along with. Oh, I'm not attempting to imply that you won't get along with the others, just that you'll get along especially well with these few. Huh. If I may ask, why is that door? Why is it haphazardly blocked off? No, I apologize. I only ask because I know that you've just purchased this house. Is something wrong with that room? Well, even if it's the basement, it looks like you're trying to block something from getting out. Is there some kind of animal down there? Like a raccoon? Or a snake? Or, pray tell, is it something else? Something you've been hiding since you left Memphis? Where the block isn't to prevent the monster from breaking out. It's to prevent me from breaking in. You are sheltering a vestige of the rot, are you not? Calm yourself. Stay your tears, my friend. If I wanted to arrest you, I would have come with a police escort, and I wouldn't have given you a chance to hide it. I wasn't lying when I said I wanted to have a conversation. So, let's talk. Talk, not argue. Make no mistake. A single word from me could send both you and the boy away. And nearly every other priest would have done that without a second thought. I'm not going to ask you to beg on your knees, but I am going to ask you to speak kindly. Now, I have a deal to offer you. A trade, if you will. Information, in exchange for the annulment of your crimes, and for the safe passage of that boy out of the country. If it sounds like an easy trade, then perhaps you haven't considered what information I could be after. Let's focus on your charge, shall we? The boy is a second-generation fiend, one who was born a fiend, when his parents were not. He likely has the abilities that most modern fiends possess, from enhanced eyesight to stronger skin. His parents, however, weren't born fiends. His parents were caught several years ago, but we haven't caught who helped them escape in the first place. Save the excuses, my friend. We know you know how to contact those individuals. It's not hard to trace communications on the Northnet. What we can't do is verify the content or exact destination of those messages. For better or worse, modern encryption has made that virtually impossible. We need someone in the loop to be our way in. Yes, that means you. You either send your friends to the temple, or you send the boy in your basement. Send the people that hurt others, killed others, and endangered many. Or send away the boy who is, even as a sinner in my eyes, in the wrong place at the wrong time. How old is he, dear friend? "17. Nearly an adult, then. So he's old enough to know that there's possibilities out there for him. Has he had any education?" Very diligent of you, then. That will certainly help his chances. Perhaps he could join the self-proclaimed outcasts in District 41. Though the community is sometimes a bit of an exclave from the rest of Metropolis, he would be among his people. Be honest. Has he been trained in combat? Whether he is or isn't won't affect my choice of action, my friend. I think both of you know that if he so much as scratches a single Aenian citizen, he'd never be seen again. But if he has been trained in combat, that opens doors for him elsewhere. Whether you believe it or not, I'm trying to help you. Good. That opens up possibilities of military service, which often brings stability, even if so for a price. When you're feeling alone, the army's up the road, salvation a la mode with a cup of tea, as the cadence goes. The Federation military, the Citadel of Light, both are options. Do not look down on me for suggesting the Citadel. Fiends, for better or worse, are uniquely suited for fighting in the fringe. Being a vestige of the rot becomes an advantage when you are faced with it. The foe is familiar when you are a product of it. That was the intended purpose of his modifications, after all. I don't want to hear it. First of all, I didn't order nor partake in the creation of him. Second, you have no proof that he's a second-generation fiend at all, besides the words of one individual. Whether you think me or others to be a monster is irrelevant. It is your word, against hundreds of thousands, against an entire nation, a nation that can make your words worthless, along with your accolades, career, and property. But personally, I'll put it another way. The rot cares not for human life, nor does it care to wait for human progression. It has evolved with us, from fantastical beasts to mechanical monsters, and from taking territory to infecting society. Take the catastrophic attack on the University of Discovery in 2112, or the destruction of the first global network at the hands of the Dataclysm. Even further, prolonged time within the rot has led to irreversible consequences in humans. Whether or not you believe it to be moral, progress must be made, sometimes at the expense of the few. Unnecessary evil, conducted for the good of humanity, in the goal of ridding our world of the evil that has plagued it since creation, and in achieving our victory against our divine adversary for our holy patron. Go ahead. Call me a monster. Call me all manner of names and insults. It does not affect me. As I stated, what you think of me is irrelevant. All that matters is the choice that you have a chance to make, that I have been kind enough to give you. You could attempt to protect your colleagues, certainly. It would certainly stall our investigation. However, there are other weak links in that chain, and it will only be a matter of time until we find one, just as we have found you. At that time, your lauded protection will count for naught, excepting the relatively short grace period in between. Meanwhile, the consequences of your choice will be the same, regardless of the effectiveness of your intent. Your marvelous degree will be worth nothing. The Memphis College of Medicine tends to disavow any degree issued to the excommunicated. With no degree, and no well-paying prospects, it would be difficult to stave off the debt incurred when purchasing this property. I suspect it would not be long at all before you couldn't afford to stay, nor afford to leave Egan. And then, your very life would be at my mercy. My word, the only thing that could save you from the vicious creditors. Meanwhile, your charge would be taken from you. I do not doubt that the last you would see of him is the sheer terror in his eyes as he is detained, and anything that occurs after that could only be theorized by your wildest imaginations. Quite astute. Of course we waited to strike until you moved to Egan. It was one of my colleagues that intentionally turned up the heat in the capital to induce you to feel the need to escape. In Memphis, you and your charge could theoretically slip out into the city center and leave via the instantaneous transmission network. Here, there is no possibility of escape. Do not fret. You have another choice, of course. Cooperate with us, and help us bring down your colleagues. In doing so, not only would you dodge the legal repercussions of what you've done so far, but you might even incur bonuses. My word can help just as much as it can hurt. If you want a well-paying job at a nearby hospital, or if you want a steady flow of patients at your private practice, I could certainly offer my endorsement. On the subject of your charge, while I wouldn't invite him into my church, I can assure you that for the rest of his time here, every Aenian official will turn a blind eye. We had even arranged travel back to the ITN terminal in Memphis for him to exit the nation, with you present the entire way, to be assured of his safety. In any case, I think I've said what I need to. Here's my card, dear friend. You know where to find me. And now, you know where to call. You have 1 week to make your decision. Either side with us, or choose not to. It makes no difference to me. But it does to you. So be mindful. You won't be going anywhere, and neither will your charge. If you try to run, you'll be running right into our hands. Praise be, my friend. Have a good night. I'll see myself out.